Hello guys, Fred is my name, and I'm going to show you today how to import your 3D models into a model viewer. And in this case we are going to use the Marmoset Toolbag. This is a pretty nice tool from the engine Marmoset. That's not the whole engine, but only a part of it. And we have in this tool bag three main functions: the material editor, the particle, and the skylight editor. We're going to look at the material editor because that's the main and most important part, where you can import your models and your materials and your animations and see the results in a game environment. Well, we can see here some screenshots from objects in the engine. They look pretty nice, pretty realistic, and I've been seeing many people using this tool. And well, it's free. It's a pretty nice and free tool, so you can download it here. Just type in Google Marmoset Toolbag, and the first website is going to be the poly count, and I guess it's the forum from the creators of Marmoset from Egg Monkey Labs. So go ahead and take a look. We're going to use this tool for the tutorial. But while you download this tool, we're going to open our well-known 3ds Max, and we have here a model I've done with the help of a tutorial from CG Tuts Plus as well. There's a tutorial from Chris Tate, and he explains the process of creating a high poly RPG launcher. And what I did here is I took the model, the high poly model, and I make a low poly version from this model, and this is this version with almost 6,000 polygons. Okay, and I did this model, and I also texture it. So I'm gonna show you now the model with the textures. Okay, so I have two pieces here, one for the rocket and one for the weapon. So, and that's why I made two materials. In this case, one for the rocket, there you go, and one for the weapon, for the RPG, and it looks like this. And I'm using now for this material DirectX shader from this fella here, Lawrence Corrigan, and it's also free. It's a pretty nice shader, and as you can see, the results are in real time, so it's really nice for game objects that you can visualize them in 3ds Max without rendering. It uses your graphic card to show the results, and it's pretty nice. There are a few options here, as you can see, but I'm not going to cover them, since the creator of the shader also did a very nice tutorial covering the configuration of the shader, so you can also have a look at this in the website CG Tuts Plus. Okay, just three points I want to cover here is the maps, the diffuse, specular, and normal maps that you need to put here to get those effects here. Okay, so let's go to the exporting process. I'm gonna apply my standard gray shader here, just standard gray, well, nothing else, just a normal standard gray. And it's really important that you make some work here on the model before you export it, like using smoothing groups. In this case, you can see here that the whole piece is with smoothing groups. In this area, for an example, we have the smoothing group number 1, and in this number 2. These smoothing groups are really important for the final result of the model, because they make the model looks better. Just to demonstrate it for you, I'm gonna select the whole model and I'm gonna say clear all. Okay, and as you can see, it looks pretty bad. So that's why it's important to use the smoothing groups. I saw many people using the auto smooth, which isn't a bad idea. You might want to use two. As you can see, it works pretty well. I didn't use auto smooth in this piece, but if you can also use auto smooth in your pieces, in your models. Also, I heard that some game engines have problems with that, but I haven't experienced any kind of problem in Marmoset and Toolbag, so for me it's not a problem. But okay, so we have those two pieces, yeah, and I'm gonna select both of them by clicking Ctrl A, and I'm going to File, Export Selected, okay, and I'm gonna select the OBJ file, and I'm going to save it just on the desktop. So I'm going to say RPG Launcher and hit OK. Okay, then we have now this window, and if you have an older version from 3ds Max, you might want to take an extra plugin called OBJ Exporter from GuruWare or so. Yeah, and I guess it's free, so you might want to download it, because the results are really better with this. But if you're using this version of 3ds Max 2009 or higher, you will automatically have this, so it's okay. It's important. Those are pretty the standard configurations from this, and it's important to have those checkboxes checked, those 3 and those as well. But like I said, if you didn't change here anything, it should be okay. So I'm gonna click on export, and this goes pretty fast. Okay, so I'm going to now get these files and Control X to cut, and now I'm gonna put those files in the Toolbag folder. Now if you already downloaded the compressed file from the Toolbag that I showed you here, the install, you get something like this here. Okay, so before you start anything, you have to install the OpenAL. Okay, so install this, and then you can start the program. But before that, we're going to copy, to paste the OBJ file we just made in this in this folder here. Well, I made this folder here called models. You can call it whatever you want, it doesn't matter, but you should make a folder inside Toolbag, inside the Toolbag folder. Okay, so I'm gonna say here RPG tutorial 2. You can name it whatever, it doesn't matter. Okay, so just put the files there. This material file isn't really necessary. We need the OBJ file, but it won't bother us, so let's let the other file as there. Yeah, okay, so it's exported from 2ds Max, and now I'm going to open the Toolbag. But before that, there's one thing I want to show you. And here in Toolbag base interface, here you should open the tool user configuration. Now you have here your size. This is the size of the window that is going to appear when I open the program. Okay, and for me, my resolution is 1440 by 900, and if you let it this resolution, you get the full screen models of it. I heard there are some problems if you run the program in full screen, so you should make it a little bit smaller. In my case, I put here 100 pixels less than my actual resolution, and it works fine. So you might want to do this as well. Okay, so change the settings and hit save, or close and hit save. Now I'm gonna finally open the program, the Toolbag, and he loads some files. Need to wait a little bit, and there you go. So like I said before, here we have our three options: material editor, particle, and skylight editor. So I'm gonna cover this because this is the main tool, and here you can open a mesh, and we have here those two bars here. We're going to cover those later, this right bar. Let's start here. Well, first we need to open the mesh. Okay, so I'm gonna open it and select my OBJ file and hit OK. Now we can't see anything, and this is because I marked an option here, vertex scanning. This is on the material tab, so I'm gonna unclick this. Okay, so let's go back to file. Now my model is a little bit too big, so now we need to zoom out, and you can do that by pressing Alt, holding the right mouse button and pushing it away. So there you go, and you can rotate the camera by pressing Alt and moving the left mouse button. There you go, and you can move the camera, the position, by holding Alt and the middle button, and there you go. I have this. Now this is looking damn ugly and this is because the textures or the materials aren't applied. So let's go to the material tab. Now if you open the program for the first time, the program, you probably have you're probably going to have nothing selected in channel mode. Now normally I choose font environment, but you can also choose any anisotropic environment. I'm gonna stick to font environment for this. Okay, so I'm gonna clean the old textures. Those were a texture from another model, and it still looks ugly. So because we have two objects, as you can see here above, we're going to create two materials in this case. So I'm going to hit new material, and I'm going to name it RPG. Okay, and I'm going to do another material and call it rocket. There you go. Now I'm going to apply this material, the RPG material, to our RPG. So apply, and you can see that it's applied by seeing those symbols here on the left, on the right here, those two. And I'm gonna take the rocket material and apply it to our rocket model again. Yeah, now it go. We can see a difference now because we still didn't apply the maps we need, the maps we have. Okay, I'm gonna choose the RPG material, and I'm gonna open the diffuse. I save them here. The diffuse for the RPG. Okay, so diffuse, the normals, and at last the specular. Now, things are starting to look better here. And I'm going to do the same for the rocket. Okay, so diffuse, normal, and specular. I choose the wrong textures. Okay, sorry. So diffuse, rocket, rocket specular. Okay, now it's working. Okay, so we have this. Now, before I forget, you can hit space to hide or show the menu. Now, there's a sort of nice stuff you can do with a model. For example, you can change the direction of the light by holding shift and pressing the left mouse button. It's like a skylight simulation. You can also press the shift button and hold and drag your right mouse button from left to right or from right to left, like this. And then you have a sort of an animation, a light animation. Like, if you're walking with your weapon in a game, and the direction of the sun is changing, or it's coming from one direction, and you're running, and then you have those reflections happening, and it's a really nice stuff. Okay, so we have this, and we can also animate or import an animation. You can't animate here, so you can just import animation. But OBJ files can contain animation, as far as I know, but Toolbag won't recognize it. So what we need to do now is I'm gonna close the program. Okay. Now, if you go to the folder again from Toolbag and open the exporter, you're going to see those files here. Now, those are a plugin for Maya to export the mesh format. That's the format that those guys from 8Monkey Labs choose. And with this you can import your animation. Okay, first of all you need to save one of those here, and this is the version. You need to check out what Maya version I have. And in my case I have, I guess, the number 8. So I just copied this file to my plugins directory from Maya. In case this one here, just copy it to my plugins, bin plugins, there you go. Here I just saved it here. And as far as I know, this plugin works only on the 32-bit version of Maya, so keep that in mind. And okay, so save this here, and you may also want to save you may need to save this mail script file in your, let me check it, wait a second, forgot the folder. Okay, you go here, user, okay, and then your name, in this case Fred, documents, Maya scripts, and there you go. I already saved it here, so it's important that you save it here. Okay, I'll explain later why. Okay, so save those two files there, and let's close Explorer and open Maya. And it's important you need to do that while Maya isn't open, or else you're going to get some conflicts. So let's open it. And there you go. We have here our friend Maya. Now we're going to import the same OBJ file we exported from 3ds Max. The reason why we're doing it maybe I should say it, is because there is no plugin for 3ds Max. That's why we need to export from 3ds Max, import here, and from Maya export into or as a mesh file. Okay, so I'm going to copy this place where my model is, in this case this guy. I'm gonna copy the address, go ahead, paste it, and hit enter. And I have this here. Okay, so let's import our obj file, and this is huge, as you can see. Okay, so first of all, I'm gonna shade all, and we'll have to, let me just center the pivot here as well, and I have to make this small. Okay, so like this, and put it back. Hit space. Going to the side view. I'm gonna hit space again to maximize. I'm gonna just fit this here well. Oops. Getting confused with I always get confused with those Maya and 3ds Max shortcuts. Okay, so then we have the, I'll hit F to zoom. Now the size is now better, but I'm gonna, no, it's okay. Now to do this, you can't just animate. I could animate the file like this and export it, but I've already tried it, and it don't work because the toolbag needs an sort of skeleton, a bone system. Well, this sounds a little bit hard, but it's pretty simple. What we need to do here is I'm gonna hit F, yeah, and I'm gonna go to animation, skeleton, joint tool, and now I'm gonna click one time with the left mouse button and one time with the right mouse button, and there we have a bone. Yeah, I'm gonna zoom, and I'm gonna make this a little bit small like this. Now I'm gonna try to center the pivot. No, it didn't go. I'm trying to guess where the middle is. You should put this on the middle. And I would say, I guess I'm going to for now I'm gonna let it this here, okay? And there you go, we have this bone. Now I'm going to select all the objects, this and this, go to skin, bind skin, smooth bind, okay? And now the bone is binded to the object. Let's hit space again and have a look at this on the perspective view. So let me select the bone, and now if we rotate it, the object is rotating with along with this. Okay. Now I'm gonna raise the number of frames here by 200, and I'm gonna select the bone again, go to my rotate tool, hit S to save a keyframe, and I'm going to the last keyframe and rotate in the, I guess, epsilon. Let me have a look. Epsilon, that's right. And I'm gonna say 360. Okay, and I'm going to save a keyframe again. So And now we have an oh, okay, the animation didn't work. Okay, so let's save again. Save, go ahead, 360, click, save, and now I have it. I have the animation. Now, as you can see, the pivot point, the bone, is located here. I don't know if this is the best place for this. You have to try out. In this case, the object is pretty big, as you can see. It's a big weapon. So it depends of which object you have, of what object you have. But in this case, it's okay. So now, do you remember that we saved that file, that stooge file, in our user Maya script folder, right? Yes. And now, if we actually need to go to display, now we need to think for a second. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to Window, Settings, Plugin Manager, and then here we need to find there are the plugins installed or on the Maya folder, and now we need to check to try to find our stooge plugin. I'm having a look, and there you go. Here it is, stooge export Maya 90.mll. And it is important to click here loaded and auto load and close. In this case, I've already did it, and hit close. Now we're all set, and what we need to do now is click here and write stooge. Okay, hit enter, and then we have that's why we saved that mel script in our Maya scripts folder. Oops, sorry. And now we have this window, and we're going to check this, and this. Okay? And hit export. And now he's asking where this is going to be saved. So I'm going to say here RPG Ani from animation, and on the same folder where my OBJ and my textures are. Okay, so I'm gonna hit export, and the program needs some time to do it. Now he's exporting only the mesh with the bone. All done. Okay, we're done. But we still need to export the animation. So let's select again our bone and write his stooge. Now you may be asking yourself, hey, we could have done all together before, but if you do that, if you export the animation with the bones, with the rig, and with the tangents and so on, the program is going to crash. So I'm going to export only the animation now. Hit export, and this is going to be pretty fast, I guess. Export, and there you go. It's really fast. And we're set. We're all set. So now let's go back to Toolbag and open the program. Click on Material Editor again, open Mesh, and select our now this is important. We're going to select the mesh file that we just created in Maya, not the OBJ file. Okay, so open. And now we see this. And now we need to find the skeleton, and as you can see, that's exactly the same bone we created in Maya. That's this guy here. We can just hit find the skeleton, and the program is going to search for the bone file in the same folder from the mesh file, or you can also here say open skeleton and find it for yourself. Okay. By the way, if your mesh is too big or too small, you can just change it here, the size of your mesh. Okay. But in this case, I'm going to let it in 1, the default size. Okay. Let's center the mesh. Zoom in again. And now we're going to our material. Now, I forgot to do something here. And I created the new material, in this case, the rocket and RPG. And I made the changes here like I showed you before. But I forgot to save the change. So I'll have to do it again. I'm gonna add the 2 materials I just created. And for the RPG, let's just load the maps. So RPG diffuse, normals, and specular. By the way, those maps, just going to show you for the rocket, for an example. This is just a standard diffuse map I've done, and for this I guess I did this material, this map in 3ds Max using the render to texture menu. And for the RPG, it was, as you can see, it's way more complex, so the program was freezing all the time, and that's why I use XNormal for making this map. Also really nice program. Okay, but let's go back to Toolbag now. And we loaded our maps, and now we're going to save it. Save map. So now it's saved. Okay, now we need to apply it. Wrong one. Apply this guy here. There you go. Our RPG. And let's go to the rocket material and open the texture, diffuse, normal, and specular. And again, apply. And there you go, there we have it. Now, there's a really strange thing here happening. I've noticed this last time. The shadows are pretty weird here. It's really strange. I heard that it might be a problem related to the ATI cards, and I'm using an ATI card, so you can turn it off, turn the shadows off. You know, you can also play with the shadow distance, for an example, but it didn't work really well actually. And if you remove it, it doesn't make a huge difference, since this is just a model. We don't have any kind of floor or something where the shadows are going to be reflected, so as you can see, the difference isn't that huge. So I'm gonna just turn it off, and you can also, yeah, almost forgot it, you can also click on this here, show scale have reference, and then you can compare your weapon to the size of a normal person, and then you can judge and say, oh, this my weapon is pretty big, I need to scale it down or so. But in this case, I guess it might be okay, so I'm gonna close it. You can also show the light direction, and then we can see where the light is coming from. There you go, here's the light, and it's reflecting on the other side of the weapon. So, and you also have here post effects that you can play around, like bloom, gamma and so, but in this case I'm going just to let the default settings. Now the maps are done and I have our object and it's looking pretty well. Maybe the lights are a little bit too strong. We might need to reduce them, so say 1.3 and yeah, it should be okay. Now as I said, you can always try around with the settings here with the sharpness and intensity until you get the better results. I'm gonna raise it a little bit down, maybe 0.8, 1.8 and 1.8 as well. And now we can go to the our animation. Oh, before I forgot, it's really important for the animation. If you're not going to animate your model, is okay, but if you're going to show and see the animation here, you need to check this vertex skinning here and here. Okay, so now we can go to the animation tab, add an animation, go to our folder and open our animation. And now we have our model animating. So my problem is that this weapon, as you can see, is pretty big, so you can't see the details from this angle. And that's why in a later version I try to get the rocket, the green part over here, and separate from the weapon, and I put this on the here below and rotated the both, so it was better. But it works this way too, but you can't see the details pretty much. And you also have this point here, the bone we just created in Maya, and you can remove that by clicking here, draw skeleton. So remove this, and there you go. You can also change the animation speed with this slider. So, but I prefer to do this in Maya. I guess you have more control there, but you can do this here as well. Now, and there you go. That's our result, and you can now get a screencasting program, a screencast recorder, like the one I'm using now. I'm gonna write it here. It's called Cam Studio. It's a free open source screen capture program, and you can have a look. It's called Cam Studio, is open source, and download it and have fun with it, and then you can save it and put this work in your reel. I guess that's it. Thanks for watching, and I hope you learned something. And if you have any questions, you can ask on the website, and I'll try to help you. Okay, so thanks for watching, and bye bye.